Well, it was inevitable, really. Wife woke up this morning, was rustling around in the downstairs area, and she discovered that I had wood. First time in a long time. I think we can all relate to that a little bit. So, what is all of that there? Well, let me introduce y'all to a mess. Especially that. That's a fun one. We'll get to that here in a moment. Gentlemen, if my analytics are anything to be trusted, ladies, all the above. Welcome to what inevitably is going to be the train room. This is a mess. Also, all of this. Little background. I'm sure many of you have discovered this channel through this little project right here. And as I've stated a multitude of times, this was never the final plan. This was just a jumping off point. Now, this is literally a pre-made layout. It's made of some kind of vacuum-formed plastic. It's been a lot of fun, and it has basically jump-started the channel and jump-started a whole lot of interesting stuff around here. But what you have not been made aware of is the construction that I've been doing, well, destruction, back here. So, the train room. This is what? I don't know, some feet by some another feet. This was a fifth-ish bedroom in this house when we bought it, but I'm going to be honest with you, this is not very functional as a bedroom, and whoever would be living back here would be extremely unhappy with the one half-size foggy window and less than generous living quarters. And since we don't have any hunchbacks to hide down here, I have decided to turn this into my train room, or at least revision 1 of the train room. We'll get to that here in a moment. The accommodations are going to be not generous, but they will be favorable for the first rendition of the train. And as you can see, I have more than enough space to get started. And since this is my room, and my room alone, no one else has laid claim to it, no one else would dare. This is pretty much a hovel. This has been the shame closet. This is literally just my project. Now, I'll show you guys a little bit of the digital rendition of the layout, but we're going to start right back here, which brings me to that mess. That's my shower. And little did I know that for the past umpteen years, it's been a drip dropping. That is not a pretty sight. But it's reality. I got to get this all cleaned up, and I'll probably have to replace that tile. That's gonna be fun. I absolutely don't look forward to that. But that's been rectified. A professional has been hired to take care of that. And with that out of the way, all it is cleanup time. Now, you will duly note the contractor grade fan. That's gone. We're going to get rid of that. I got to get some LED lighting in here, something that's a little more favorable to a studio setting. I do have a closet here, and for one reason or another, it's a wraparound. Don't ask me why that's the case. I couldn't tell you. Also contains a hideaway laundry room and some more trains. What's this doing in here? I thought I cleaned out all my trains. Let's figure out what this is. Oh, here's some O-gauge track. More Tyco stuff. I don't think a lot of that's going to have much to do about nothing. I think that's just hideaway stuff for a reason. That washer does not work. It's going to be relocated. I will probably just build a rail yard in there, tunnel through the wall, and then in here we're going to hide a bit of a helix, and I'm going to replace these doors with something that's going to be a little bit more accommodating, And we can hide some features back there and do basically a double-tiered track. Now, the astute among you will notice that I already have a 4x8 layout. And this is about 3 feet deep by 7.5 feet. So we're going to put the 4-foot layout, 4x8 layout, right here. That's going to give us about 6-7 inches of clearance on this side. This is some of the wife's old toys from when she was a kid. We're getting these all cleaned up for her. They've been sitting in the basement, and obviously it's been kind of humid. So we got to get all those cleaned up. That's a whole other project for a whole other day. I think it's a leaf. No, that's a shelf. That may be a project I forgot to finish. Well, we're just going to ignore that. We're going to start building a cityscape over here. Going to wrap all the way around the wall. And we're going to come over here to the 4x8. And we're going to integrate that into what's inevitably going over here. What's going right here? Well, let's check it out. So if we jump over to my gaming setup here, and yes, I do have a gaming channel as well, because progressing much past the age of 12 or 13 is distinctly overrated. Let's jump into a copy of AnyRail here, and let's talk about the Benchwork and the kind of plans coming in for this event. Now, the old Tyco layout is laid out here in rough Benchwork. It is measured properly. This is the proper measurements of it. But the thing is I put all the wood here for the dimensions, and because there's already, an aluminum frame underneath that, I really don't need to have that much bench work for it. So most likely we're just going to kind of have, 2 or 3, basically 2 or 3 shelves just coming off of the wall to support that. And then I think I talked about putting that at the bottom layer, but I think I'm going to actually keep that sort of at the top. And when we get closer to install time, I'll kind of show you and explain why. But I do have a specific reason for that, and more or less, it's the one thing we're going to be working on really hard. It's, it's easy to get underneath. It's, frankly, I've spent a lot of time on this bad boy, so I kind of think that there's a great spot for that to sit and reside as the second tier or top tier to the final layout. Now, that's this, but that's only one side of the room. We have a whole other side of the room, and if I kind of zoom out here for a moment, well, zoom out would be this. There we go. You can kind of see this is the further back side of the room where that leak and that stain were that are currently in the process of getting cleaned up. And this is the rough benchwork that we're going to do for that section. Now, to kind of break this down and to put this into a little bit more perspective, that's this kind of awkward area over here. That's all going to be inside the closet, and that's just going to be, basic track work. I think there's enough room in there to fit a helix, or at least have a helix that somewhat protrudes from the wall and goes between the 2 doorways. And that helix is just to kind of get trains up and down throughout the different levels, because I do plan to make this a mountainscape. Now, the front end of this, and you'll notice here the widths. So this is this width right here is about the width of the wall, and then this right here is coming about 2 feet out from the wall. So we'll have plenty of space to work in there, and that gives me basically a 5-foot section in the center of the room, total 5-foot diameter in the center of the room, where we could put another big mountain or another big turnaround and another perhaps helix or something of that nature. And we'll get to that here in a moment. Basically, I can use this channel as a jumping off point to make the track layout of my dreams, and it's going to be so much fun. And I appreciate you guys that have been dropping some pointers here and there. I'm sure that as we go into building this is my first major layout like this, and I'm really, really, really excited, especially for some of the things that you guys have been recommending that may not necessarily be applicable to the Tyco layout, but when we build our own layout, definitely will be super applicable and will be tons of fun. Plus, when it is my layout and when it is, something that we're building from the ground up, a lot of the problems that we had with the Tyco layout with, tracks bending and, things sagging, those are just simply not going to be a problem here. Those are things that I'm going to be able to control a lot easier. That said, the Tyco layout is going to stay put and is going to be an integrated part of this, and I'm definitely definitely looking forward to that. And to give you a little bit more of an idea of kind of what we're looking at here. Now, I was talking, this would be like more like an upper level. Eventually, I would like to add a base level as well. So if we kind of click this, this will give you a little bit more of an idea. And I can get rid of the top level here. This is more of a fleshed out idea of what could be the base level track. And then down here, one thing I do want in this is I want one solid run of passenger rail that is powered overhead catenary. And so having the ability to have this lower level where I can, run those trains out and have a big wide helix where I can kind of run them up to the next level. That means we could have the basically a double line running from, let's just say, one side of the room out to that big loop you see out there. And then on the second layer, if I bring that back here, running it back. And once again, I still have not connected this area, but I consider basically, if I kind of once again take this away, this benchwork right here is so close to that, it's almost basically like just building double of that. And you can kind of see that large protrusion in the center. That in and of itself is basically we're going to build that second big mountain that's going to hide a helix or something that's going to be able to help us get the trains up and down the mountain. So that is going to be a ton of fun. There's so much to go on here and so many ways to turn this room into just an amazing, massive layout and then some. Now, at the very front of this, I already have a plan and I have a few things ready to go. And that is we're going to have a cityscape. I'm going to have a Main Street area, and I'm going to have a line of shops. And in that Main Street area, there is going to be one long straight section of road, and there's going to be a cable car going down the center of that road. I actually already have purchased some Proto 87 girder rail. I know that's a little prototypical compared to what we've been doing in the rest of the channel, but I've been eyeballing this for a long time, and I really love the effect and the look, and it's kind of a level up in a new, I guess, direction that I really want to take this in. Now, I'm not going to go full prototypical. We're going to stick with Code 100 rail just because that allows me to run some older trains and things like that. I know, once again, not crazy prototypical, but it'll be fun to run nonetheless. And one thing I'm going to do with this, now, I've said from the start, this is my railroad, and I'm here to have fun with it. I'm not necessarily going to get all caught up in, what's prototypical or whatnot. So, since we're building a cityscape, and I am a bit of a automotive buff as well, many a year ago, I bought this, and these, and a lot of that. What does all this mean? Well, downtown, we're going to have a little street race. The whole mountainscape is going to have it's a HO gauge. I mean, technically it's 1/64th, but not that they really keep to that scale. Slot car track. I have seen, and this is what's kind of interesting to me, I've seen slot car tracks and railroad tracks integrated, but it's always like 2 ovals. That's about it. Maybe a figure 8. I've seen a couple slot car tracks that are big mountainous layouts, but I've never seen one that's a big mountainous layout with a train that's a big mountainous layout. They probably exist. I've simply never seen one. So I'm going to build one. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be a learning process, because some of the things that I have planned, simply put, I don't know how to do them. So we're going to have to learn. I think Arduinos are going to be in the works and all kinds of nifty things. So we'll discuss that as that goes up. But first up, we're going to build the benchwork. Second up, we're going to start laying track, get all that put in there, and slowly reclaim this room. Better lighting, probably better flooring. I might actually just carpet this room or something. I haven't decided. I need this room. This room needs to be like comfy to exist in. Though if I carpet it, well, I mean, to be fair, if that starts leaking again, I'm gonna put some tile up there. Well, it won't be a problem. It won't be a problem. So maybe we'll throw some carpet in here. Maybe I'll just throw a cheapo rug or something like that, because it just needs to be comfy all under the old tootsies. I'm not keen on wearing shoes in the house. It's just not my bag.
This sort of thing ain't my bag, baby.
For those of you asking, that is S-gauge track. I don't know what I'm doing with it. I bought this box for $4. I'll probably sell it on eBay or something. I don't know. But yeah, this will be a lot of fun. I'm excited. This is phase 2. And yes, I did say phase 2. Now, you guys have been subscribing at a great level. You guys have absolutely been tearing it up. So I'll let you know a little tiny secret. So I've turned up the gain a little bit. That's why we're getting some of these dust particles. But this is the attic, and that is the roof. And this is an area I have been pondering for quite a bit of time about reclaiming, because we don't use this as anything. It's not even storage. It's just wasted space. And how awesome would it be to build, a nice bonus room up here? There's plenty of area. There's a bit of a furnace here, but that's easy enough to work around. And this area it's at peak about 16 feet tall and as long as the whole rest of the house. So there's more than enough space at some point to come up here and start building a bonus room. That's right. We could have a massive and amazing dedicated train room, way bigger than what's in the basement.
Hey, what are you doing up there?
Nothing.